Good morning, everyone. Pulled over here to type up some title for this so I can get back on the road and then head to the clinic. And I just found out we don't start for another 30 minutes, so I'm going in early, so I got some catch-up work I can do. That's exciting. So anyway, this morning when I was working out, I get a Marco Polo from Brandy. She's our office manager at the clinic, and she wanted to run through some different scenarios of what some patients are saying as far as objections to getting scheduled when they need to be scheduled. Okay, put this over here like this. All right, and so anyway, if you haven't watched the demo to see how like this topic fits into all the other stuff that we're doing, go and do that. If you go to demo.movenowyou.com, you can watch it. It's 30 minutes, and it gives you a pretty good overview. Now, a couple things I want to say before I get into this topic, because there's some doctors we've spoken to lately that are interested in putting functional movement into their clinic, and then they have objections. You have objections. This is an objection you might be thinking as a chiropractor, looking at this going, yeah, I love all the stuff that you do and you talk about and it looks so cool, but how am I going to do it? It's too hard. It's going to take too much time. It's not going to reimburse enough. It's going to involve more staff and more space and all the different objections you can think of. So I'm not going to handle all those objections now. I've handled those in multiple videos before, but just to touch on that, let me just make this statement, okay? If you got into chiropractic to do the best for your patients, to make an impact in your community. Now, I'm not just saying this to sound cool, all right? I'm saying this legit. Like, you as a chiropractor want to leave a mark so that when you are old and gray, you can say, I did something with my life, not, hey, I just had a job and I made some money. Or worse yet, hey, I had a job and I struggled and I hated it, okay? That would be awful. If you're looking to actually do that, you already put the hard work in. You went to chiropractic school, all right? That was a lot of hard work. That was a lot of dedication. You paid the time and the money to do that. There's some more work to do, though. You know, you get out and practice, and whether you own your practice or you're working in a practice and you have some autonomy to be able to do some things that you feel are good for patient care. Like, I was an associate in a practice, and I had the ability to do things that I thought were going to be good treatment-wise, and I was able to do that even though that wasn't the norm in the clinic. You might have that opportunity, but it's going to take some work to set those things in place. So here's what I'm going to say, is that the systems inside of Move Now are not put together as a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not just a fad. It's not something that's going to come and go in your practice. It's not just an ancillary service. It's not just an optional thing to do that takes you, a couple weeks of following 3 easy steps and then it's in place. No, that's not how it works. What it is, though, is it's a system to redefine who you are as a chiropractor and be totally different in your community. And the first benefit is you get better results with your patients, hands down. We can argue this all day long. I will win. Okay, I'm not saying this to sound cocky, but if you address this stuff, you get better results with your patients, no doubt. I don't care what technique you do. I don't care how good you are clinically. You're going to get better results if you're addressing functional movement, if you're measuring and fixing movement. There's just no other way about it. So, if you're at least committed to that part, that the next part that is such an awesome reward of this, and I've seen it already so many times just yesterday. It's Tuesday today. Yesterday, Monday, we saw this multiple times. I was talking to my assistant. I said, hey, are you seeing this? Because she was hearing this from patients back to back to back. Is that when you have all of this stuff in place, you get unsolicited comments from your patients saying things like, you guys have your stuff together. You guys have great systems. I've never seen systems like this in any healthcare clinic, let alone a chiropractic clinic. I'm so impressed with your team. This is the stuff that we hear all day long. And now, even though the way that it goes is that 80% of our decision-making process is emotional and 20% is based on fact, okay? So even though that is how it's taught and that is the consensus out there, I would argue that in this type of framework where we have so many systems and we have so much on the clinical side, and the systems explain the benefits, so it's not just features, it's benefits of each thing. And that's an important thing to differentiate, features and benefits. You know, features is, hey, we have functional movement, we have kettlebells, we have mobility kits, we have this. The benefits is, this is gonna help you achieve a strong, healthy body for a lifetime. So you have confidence of being able to avoid sickness and disease. That's a benefit. So because we have all this stuff laid out, and because this is taught inside of Move Now, and our other Move Now doctors are seeing the same success in practice, what happens is that now it's not this 80-20 rule. It's not this 80% of having to really go deep into the emotional stuff and have 20% fact and proof. I would argue that these systems, the systems themselves, speak to the emotional side, create certainty, and make it more of almost 50-50. Okay, so meaning, yes, it's still important to align with your patients, to set goals, to really be able to emotionally connect with them so that they can make an empowering decision, right? But the systems make that happen because the emotional side of this organized process speaks to their certainty level. It speaks to maybe a level of skepticism that they have, that it overcomes the skepticism. So now you're able to reach the most skeptical patient. You are able to overcome objections in someone many times quicker because seeing is believing. And so for those reasons, your commitment rate goes up. People are more likely to want to commit to your program, to your process, because it's better and they can see it. So now, with all that stuff said, I'll get to the actual topic at hand. And the topic at hand was how you handle these objections when a patient says that they can't schedule at a certain time. All right. And so I just went through this morning with our office manager, and it was kind of a lengthy conversation, but to boil it down, it's asking them questions, reminding them of why they started care with you and what they want to accomplish. So let's say it's John, and John says he gets up at the front desk. He's supposed to be coming in twice a week for the next 9 weeks of care to go through this corrective process of getting checked, adjusted, functional movement. In our practice, we do spine remodeling traction as well. And so he understands the benefits of this. He understands what it's going to do for his life, or at least he's already agreed to saying that he does understand. He's demonstrated that he understands, but now he's starting to backtrack. He's starting to go backwards, gets to the front desk, and he says, you know what, there's just no way that I can come in twice in a week because of my work schedule. I already missed a day last week or the week before, so this week I can only come in once. That's where your staff can say, okay, that's what we'll just have to make work. Like, they could say that, which would be what we refer to as a complete failure, right? You don't want to do that because now you're now teaching that person that that's acceptable, which it's not, okay? Instead, you have to say, oh, okay, well, let's talk through this, because certainly you want to be able to achieve the results and achieve these goals that you set with the doctor, right? That's why you're here, right? Yes, of course. Right. And by all means, we definitely don't want you to go backwards. We don't want you to lose progress. We also don't want you to fall short of reaching this goal because you need to reduce the frequency 50% of what was recommended, okay? And then you can say, does that make sense? Like checking in with them, right? So then from there you can say, so let's see how we can find out a solution so that we can find some times that work with you. We can figure out how to overcome some of these obstacles so that you can get the care that you want and that you need. All right? All right. So you get that agreement in the beginning, and now they've given you permission to start going through the process of trying to problem solve. So now how do you problem solve? The problem solving is, all right, what times typically are you able to get in? And they can say, well, 5:30 p.m. Okay, and so far it looks like you've been coming in on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Right? Right, okay. That's also a very popular time in our clinic, and it would be extremely advantageous for you if we can get you on the schedule for the next several weeks so we can hold that spot for you. But keep in mind, we're holding that spot for you. That means that someone else can't come in at that time. So that's a very important time. We need to make sure that you're 100% committed to making it that time. Now, why is it that you can't make it on Mondays and you said you can only make it Wednesdays? Well, on Mondays, one day a week, I talked to my boss and they told me that I can leave 15 minutes early just one day a week. Okay, so now at that part, then you can offer to give them a note for work. You say, you know what, I totally understand that. That's great that your boss is willing to let you leave that one day a week. What is it that's stopping them from being able to allow you to get out on Monday as well? Okay, and you problem solve that process. And even though it might seem like it's obvious to you and you think that this person already went through this whole thought process in their mind, a lot of times you'll find out they haven't. A lot of times you'll find out that they talked to the boss said, yeah, you can leave early one day a week, but you can't do it at all outside that. They've never gone to the boss with your help and your coaching to say, hey boss, here's what's going on. I know that you said I could leave on Wednesdays 15 minutes early to make it to my doctor's appointment. I totally greatly appreciate that. However, the program that I'm doing so that I can really get these results, so I can have more energy, I can be more productive at work, and really ensure that I'm just on point here, minimize any downtime at all. It requires me to be there 2 days a week. What can I do so I can leave a little bit earlier on Monday as well? Is it optional if I come in a little bit earlier? Is there something I can do where maybe I can move a shift around with someone else at work? And hey boss, this isn't forever. This frequency is just going to be for the next couple of months, and then we're going to reevaluate where I'm at. And I'll tell you, I'm putting 150% effort into this program so I can make great changes and get stronger and healthier. And so when I achieve that, very likely I'll be able to reduce the frequency, and then I won't have to ask of that. However, I'm doing this as an investment in my health, and really I want you to see this as something where this is really going to benefit the company, because I'm going to be more productive. I'm going to be, just stronger, more focused. That's really what I want, is to do my best here. But there's some health challenges I'm having that I need to be able to address first. Okay. Like what boss would say no to that if you came in and approached it like that? But most people don't really have the know-how of how to come in and ask their boss for this concession to have 2 days a week where they can leave 15 minutes earlier. 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe switch a shift with Mary or something. I don't know, but that's an option. And if that doesn't work, is there a different time of the day you can come in? Can you come in the morning on a morning shift? Can you go into work a little later and stay later, but you come in the morning and you get the care that you need in our clinic? So it's talking through this with the patient. And then if the patient is still all no's and no, I can't do it, then at that point, it's not just, okay, we're going to make the executive decision to cut your schedule back to 50% of what the doctor recommended, but instead it needs to be said to the patient, okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll see you on your next visit, which is Wednesday, whatever. And what I'm going to do is, the doctor is seeing patients right now. I'm going to talk to him at the end of the shift this evening. So on Wednesday, plan on a few extra minutes so you can game plan with the doctor so we can find a solution so we can keep you on track. And then that next visit, they come in, they talk to me, they talk to the doctor, and we go through this and we find a solution so we can get them twice a week. 9 times out of 10 when you do that, people will find a solution. 9 times out of 10. So 10% of the time, 10% you're going to have patients that no matter what you do or say, it's outside their control. They cannot follow your recommendations and you have to cut the recommendations back. Okay. 10%. So that's 1 out of 10. 9 out of 10 should be able to make this thing work and figure it out. And so if you follow that process and they understand the core values in your practice, why you're doing this, you're not just doing this so you can see them twice a week for fun. You're doing this because their results depend on their ability to be consistent with your care recommendations. And so you have to have 1,000% conviction with that, and so does your team. So your team has to be unwavering when they are supporting your recommendations at the front desk. So in our clinic, patients pre-schedule out, and this is all set up ahead of time, but then, maybe 3 weeks into it, they try to go back and say, oh, I have to cut off that second day a week because of XYZ. Handle those objections, handle it. Role play this with your team, practice this. This is so crucial. It's so important because ultimately, why do we do this? We do this so we can make an impact in our community and get excellent results with our patients. Can we do that if we're modifying a frequency of care and cutting it back 50% of what is clinically needed? No, you can't. And if you can explain it to a patient, they get it too, because that is the truth. All right? Hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about what I'm talking about. Let me know if there's something else that you want to see us talk about. I'm going to head into the clinic. It's raining outside like crazy. And if you haven't watched the demo, check out the demo. It's demo.movenowyou.com, and you can see how all these systems come together. Our program is not just how do you do a movement assessment and then how do you figure out what exercises to prescribe. That's a big part of it, and I feel like we really break that down and make that extremely user-friendly for someone who's seasoned in functional movement and doesn't know how to organize it, or someone who's brand new to it. I feel like it works for both audiences, and we have a lot of doctors in our program that are super into exercise. They have degrees in it, and they found that our systems have finally given them the clarity that they haven't been able to implement with their patients in the past. We have other doctors that know nothing about functional movement, and this is their intro to it, and they learn it, and they love it, and they implement it. That's a piece of the program. The other parts is all the systems that make it work, the systems that make patients care about it, that keep them engaged, that make them motivated to ascend to the next level, that make them lifetime chiropractic patients, not for the sake of so you can see someone forever, but for the sake of because they're inspired to change their life. They look at chiropractic as a lifestyle. They understand exercise is a key part in that, and now you've just married the two to connect that in your patient's brain so that they want to go through this and they want to bring their family in on this as well, because they see the importance for not just them, but their entire family, their circle of influence, at the workplace. It's just something that just transcends so much further past that one individual when you have this type of culture in your practice. So anyway, I'm going to go inside for real this time. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Over and out.